Good morning. Okay. So we were on contemporary Western moral thinkers. We did Sartre, Ayn Rand was done, and now this is the last one, John Rawls, and he's also the last philosophers of Western moral philosophy. Okay. Now, what John Rawls has given, you people have some idea about it. Last year there was a direct question on it. John Rawls, theory of justice. Okay. Okay. See, basically earlier also there have been many theories of justice. Okay, but the problem was that they were not able to balance justice with efficiency. Like usually this is a criticism for justice, that it many times leads to inefficiency. Are you getting my point? Just in order to give everyone equal share, it doesn't lead to the optimal utilization of resources. It happens. Okay. So this is what John Rawls has tried to balance out through his theory of justice. Okay. He used the basic, again, that basic tool of social contract. Social contract? Okay. He gave two principles, principle of liberty and differential principle. And he said that no society would sign a social contract which does not contain at least these two principles. Are you understanding my point? I'll come to this thing. First of all, we must understand the concept of veil of ignorance. What is veil of ignorance? Any idea? Political science वालों को तो पता होना चाहिए. No idea. Veil of ignorance. Basically, I mean, just imagine that this is Earth. And you are revolving around this Earth in pure energy state. Okay. Like you are, I mean, you have been sent by the God to take birth on Earth, but you are in the middle. Are you getting my pure energy state? You are that soul which has been sent by the God, but you still haven't taken birth on Earth. Okay. Now, at this point, you really don't have any idea that on which part of Earth you will take birth. Okay. In which class you will go, in which caste you will go, what talents you will have. Are you getting my point? You really don't know anything about what you are going to be when you will take birth on this Earth. Okay. Now, basically this is what we call veil of ignorance. You are completely ignorant about your whereabouts on Earth. You get veil, समझते हो ना? Veil of ignorance. Okay. So this is a state. Now, Rawls argues that when a person is in this state, he will always take decisions on the basis of morality rather than on the basis of his caste or class considerations. Now, if I ask you, you are in this position, if I ask you that whether reservation is a good thing or not, or whether it should be applied in societies or not, tell me, what will be your decision when you are in this pure energy state? When there is 50% chances that you will also take birth as a member of reserved category. Probability तो है ना. Like on this earth, let's say 50% population comes under reserved category. Okay, this is a basic fact. And there are equal chances that you may take birth in this reserved category. Now tell me, what decision you will take? I mean, in this state, the only thing which you have with you is the reason. The reason which is based on your morality, your idea of right and wrong. Are you getting my point? Any decision, if you take any decision while wearing this veil of ignorance, certainly it will be completely based on ethics rather than caste or class considerations. किसकी जस्ट सॉरी लेडी ऑफ जस्टिस कह सकते हैं. In fact, this, see, again, thing is still same, but we are just having a different approach towards it. What Indian approach is, empathy and compassion. What do you mean by empathy and compassion? Putting yourself in place of other people and looking things from their perspective. Now when you are behind this veil of ignorance, what you are doing? You are looking things from the perspective of other people. Okay, that what if I will take birth in a reserved category? Okay, what if I will take birth as a differently abled child? Okay, so this is the basic idea. Now again, like say 3% population differently abled. Okay, so there is 3% probability that you will take birth as a differently abled child. Are you getting the point? So this is the whole idea. This is about veil of ignorance. And now what John Rawls says? He says that a person behind veil of ignorance will take a person behind veil of ignorance will only sign that social contract which contains at least these two principles which have been given by him: liberty principle and difference principle. Are you getting my point? I mean, I'm trying to make you understand the context in which he has defined these two principles. Okay.
But how is he defining the veil of ignorance in the on the earth or the present society?
I have taken this example to make you understand this thing.
How do you apply in the present society?
Certainly you must apply this thing. Like what he has said, that all the political decisions must be taken on the basis of this veil of ignorance. If you are a politician, you have to take a decision that always go behind this veil of ignorance and take your decisions. हाँ, वही काइंड ऑफ एम्पैथी कंपैशन की बात हो गई है, बट इट इज मोर साइंटिफिक वे. मतलब वो रिलीजन को ना घुसाते हुए ही हैज डिफाइंड इट इन अ मोर रैशनल मैनर. ओके, आप समझो आप कुछ नहीं जानते. गॉट इट? अच्छा, दिस इज द होल. क्लियर है ना? आई होप देयर इज नो, कोई बहुत रॉकेट साइंस नहीं है, इट्स क्वाइट इजी. ओके, जस्ट राइट 3-4 लाइन्स अबाउट वेल ऑफ इग्नोरेंस. Veil of ignorance is a method, like in fact what UPSC asked was this only, that how Rawls concept can be used in Indian context. Okay, so veil of ignorance must be used while making political decisions. Justice can be applied through to these two principles which we are going to discuss. Veil of ignorance is a method of determining, it's a method of determining the morality of political issues. The morality of political issues. As per Rawls, politicians should make decisions. Politicians should make decisions based on the assumption that they know nothing about the particular talents, that they know nothing about the particular talents, abilities, taste, social class and positions they will have, in the social order, comma, once they become part of it. Such people behind veil of ignorance will make decisions. Such people behind veil of ignorance will make decisions based on morality. Based on morality. Since they will not be able to make choices, since they will not be able to make choices based on self or class interest, based on self or class interest. Okay, this is veil of ignorance. Now, how veil of ignorance is connected to these two principles? He says, Rawls argues, next paragraph, Rawls argues that a rational individual would only sign that social contract, that would at least conform to the following two rules. Okay, I hope you have understood the linkage. From veil of ignorance, now we are moving to these two principles. Now the first principle is liberty principle. Liberty principle. What it says, each person is to have an equal right. Each person is to have an equal right to the most extensive basic liberty compatible with similar liberty for others. Similar liberty for others. Basically, it is very Kantian in nature. I mean, egalitarian principle it is there, that maximum freedom must be provided to the people, and this freedom must be compatible with the freedom which has been provided to other people. I told you that story of Smith and Roger. Okay, Smith moving his stick in the middle of the road struck the nose of Roger. So Smith said, it's a free place, I can do anything, it's my right to move my stick. So Roger said, your right end where my nose begins. Okay, so his right to move his stick must be compatible with the right to dignity or right to life of Mr. Roger. Okay, so compatibility needs to be there. Again, it's a very simple liberty principle, egalitarian thought process. The only that technicality is there in the second principle, that is difference principle. Okay, second principle क्या है इसका? Second principle says, difference principle है ये, social and economic inequalities are to be arranged so that they are both नाउ इसका पार्ट ए है, पार्ट ए, reasonably expected to be to everyone's advantage, to be to everyone's advantage, okay. And second is attached to positions, part B is attached to positions and offices open to all. Attached to positions and offices open to all. Now tell me what you have understood of this part A of second principle. Reasonably expected to be to everyone's advantage. See, in this difference principle, Rawls accepts that yes, there will be social economic inequalities in the society. Okay, but these inequalities must be adjusted, must be arranged in such a manner that everyone takes advantage of it. Like for example, suppose let's say suppose 50 units of average 50 units of resources should be there with every citizen. Okay, let's say 500 units are there and 10 people are there in society. So every person should get 50 units. Got it? So this is 50. But he says that there will be certain people who, because of their higher talents, because of their background, because of their education, they will be able to take more resources. Are you getting my point? So some people will have 70 units because of their greater talents. And some people, because they were not so lucky or their background was not that solid, so they got only 30 units. Okay. So inequalities are there. Okay, 50, 30, 70 inequalities come. Now what he says, that those people who have got these extra benefits, they should also get extra responsibilities. There should be extra burden also on those who are having these 50 units of resources. Okay, I mean वही वाला हो गया, like with great power comes great responsibility. Okay, with this they have power, okay, no problem, give them power, but give them equal responsibility also, so that even if inequality exists, it is for the advantage of even for those who have only 30 units of resources. Are you getting my point? Like for example, progressive taxes. Progressive taxes are based on this idea. Okay, because these people have higher resources, they also have extra responsibility with them. Now what is happening because of this? Efficiency is maintained. Are you getting my point? Because those who are talented, they are enjoying higher resources. But along with that, they also have higher responsibilities. So inequalities are arranged for the benefit of every person. This is the whole idea. Okay, and what is part B? Attached to positions and offices which are open to all. Like for example, some person has become IAS officer because of his greater, let's say greater abilities and all those things. Okay, but it doesn't mean that a person who just have 30 units of resources, he cannot become an IAS officer. This office will be open to him also. It completely depends upon the competition or the person who reaches the above position. Are you getting my point? So everything is open to everyone. Complete liberty is given to compete for all the offices in the society. But those who are lucky enough or who are destined to reach this upper category, okay, they will have the extra responsibility also. Are you getting my point? नहीं आई समझ में बात? मुश्किल लग रहा है थोड़ा सा. Simple तो approach है. There is nothing in it. With extra, with extra powers come extra responsibility.
How is it different with the normal justice concept?
Sorry?
How is it different with the normal justice concept? Equally.
See, वो नॉर्मल जस्टिस में बात कर रहा है कि सबको इक्वल पोजीशन पे लेकर आओ. इन नॉर्मल जस्टिस जो यूनिवर्सल बेसिक इनकम वगैरह की बात होती है, बेसिकली इट सेज कि ट्राई टू पुश एवरीवन टू दिस 50. Are you getting my point? John Rawls is saying that it is not possible to move everyone to 50. It is very elusive in nature. Okay, so yes, I mean it's a reality that inequalities will exist. Okay, but they should exist in such a manner that they should be at advantage for everyone. हाँ, ये अभी अमर्त्य सेन आ गया इसके अंदर. Okay. हाँ, how to attain, हाँ, वो क्या है, वो थोड़ा सा नॉर्मेटिव आ गया, what ought to be, और मतलब क्या होना चाहिए, मतलब यूटोपियन टाइप हो गया. बट ही इज मोर प्रैक्टिकल इन नेचर, यू कैन से. ओके, अमर्त्य सेन ने क्या कहा इन हिज आइडिया ऑफ जस्टिस? ही प्रेजेंटेड अ क्रिटिक टू जॉन रॉल्स. क्या क्रिटिक था? See, first of all, as we have discussed this thing earlier also, that there can be no universal principle of justice. In fact, having this universal approach in itself is flawed in nature. Why? Because different societies, different people have different ideas of what justice means. We discussed that example na, in which 3 children flute, idea of justice example. You getting my point? So, he said that basically this principle approach is not good. Okay, we should not go for these principles. Secondly, he said that instead of providing liberty to people, we should provide capability to them. Capability approach की बात करी थी. Okay, he said that we all have, again that example which I discussed earlier, that we all have liberty to go and take a meal in Siddhartha. हम लोग सब, we have the liberty ना, we can go and sit at any 5-star hotel. But are we really free? क्या free है हम लोग? No. Why? Because we are not equal. We doesn't have the required resources to go and take a dinner in Siddhartha. So what he said, that instead of providing liberty, what you should provide them? Make them capable. And how you can make them capable? By providing them good education and health facilities. Primary health or education though, they themselves will take their freedoms. They will at least become capable of enjoying their freedoms. Are you getting my point? In fact, last year there was a question also in paper 2 regarding this thing. That Amartya Sen has talked about this primary healthcare and education facilities to be provided by government. Recently also, Amartya Sen has said he has criticized present government regarding these 2 issues only. Okay, so capability approach in contrast to the liberty approach of John Rawls. Just have this basic understanding in your mind and write your answers on these bases only. Basic idea रखो दिमाग में. Okay. So this is the whole idea. Got it? Amartya Sen ka you people can read it from your booklet. Okay, it is there in Teachings of Great Leaders and Administrators, not in this model philosophy part. Unit 1, Great Leaders and those administrators and reformers, that particular topic is there. So in your booklet it is given on that topic. Got it? Okay, इसमें just write 2-3 lines. Part A of second principle. Part A of second principle is not egalitarian. Is not egalitarian, but makes benefit for some proportionate to their contribution towards benefiting the least disadvantaged persons. Okay, this is the idea. Proportionate कर दो with a contribution. Okay, like it is said that John Rawls himself said that if these principles are followed, then people would have less reasons to envy with each other. Okay, envy, I mean, is at the center here. बहुत important है envy, I will discuss it in Indian philosophy. Okay, so with this, Western philosophy is done. Now we'll move to Indian moral philosophy. Okay. Sorry? अरे पार्ट बी लिखा तो आपने, ये दिया तो एक्सप्लेनेशन, पार्ट बी में तो कुछ है ही नहीं. हाँ, वो तो सिंपल है कि इट इज, हाँ इट इज काइंड ऑफ लिबर्टी ओनली. हाँ, क्वालिटी, वो बेसिक जो टेक्निकल जो इशू है वो पार्ट ए के अंदर ही है. ओके. ऐसे भी क्वेश्चन आ चुका है. ओके. यस, इंडियन मॉरल फिलॉसफी. क्या है इंडियन फिलॉसफी? हाउ मेनी स्कूल्स आर देयर? कौन कौन से 2 स्कूल्स हैं? पहली कैटेगराइजेशन क्या है? ऑर्थोडॉक्स एंड हेट्रोडॉक्स. और what we call Astika and Nastika. They accept authority of Vedas, don't accept. क्या है ओल्ड स्कूल? कौन सा है? संख्या. Okay, basically these schools are there. But again, we don't have to get into the core philosophy of India. We'll just concentrate on this moral philosophy aspect. जीवा अजीवा तो उसका है, जैनिज्म का कॉन्सेप्ट है. In which part it comes? हेट्रोडॉक्स के अंदर आता है, बट बेसिकली मेजर स्कूल्स यही 3 आते हैं. ठीक है, आजीविका को भी आप डाल सकते हैं इफ यू वांट. सॉरी डेस्टिनी. ओके दैट इज कॉस्मिक डिटर्मिनिज्म यू कैन से. ओके. Like I told you earlier also, like in Western philosophy, see, there is a lot of difference also actually. When this question can also be asked, what's the basic difference in your opinion in Western moral philosophy and Indian moral philosophy? Okay, like in Western philosophy, there was a difference between mind and body. Okay, in India, क्या difference है? Soul and body. Okay, Purusha and Prakriti. Okay, this is what Sankhya has also. Purusha basically means soul, and Prakriti basically the matter, the 5 elements from which your body has been constructed. Are you getting my point? So basic, see, many different. What do we call philosophy in Hindi? Darshan Shastra. Okay, what do you mean by darshan? Looking things. Okay, see, this is a very huge difference between Western and Indian philosophy. Okay, Indian philosophy calls for darshan. Okay, darshan to all the different perspectives and viewpoints. It is not judgmental in nature. Whereas in case of Western philosophy, it is judgmental. Okay, I mean, there is a quest to find what is right and what is wrong. But in Indian philosophy, this quest is not there. Are you getting my point? Western philosophy will try to give you one answer. But Indian philosophy will open all the choices in front of you, that these are the choices. Now you are the one who has to make a choice. Are you getting my point? So this is a huge difference between Indian and Western philosophy. Like another difference is that most of these Western philosophy schools, they are based on the idea of self-interest, ego. They take individual at the core. Whereas Indian philosophy, they take society at the core. Okay, they never goes for like in Western philosophy you will find heroes. Okay, I mean they will give more importance, more weightage to valor, bravery. Are you getting an act of possession, self-interest? You are talking. Are you understanding? Like Alexander. Okay, the more victories you have, the more killing you will do, more big you will become, and you will be remembered by the people who will take birth after you. The next generations will remember you for thousands, for till the end of time itself. Are you getting my point? But in India, this thing is not there. Okay, they don't talk about winning the outer world. They talk about winning the inner world. In fact, there is one story also, like when when Alexander, he was entering India, he met a monk. Okay, so what he saw was, in fact, many people say that Alexander got disillusioned after entering India only. Okay, why? Exactly, he met this monk, and what he saw was that this monk, he was just sitting on a stone and he was staring at the sky. Okay, so so Alexander asked him, I mean, what you are doing? So he said that I am experiencing the emptiness. I am experiencing the emptiness. I am trying to control the ceaseless activity of my mind. Okay, and then monk asked Alexander that what you are doing. So he said that I am conquering this world. And then both of them laughed at each other. Are you understanding? This is the end of story. Both of them laughed at each other. Why they laughed at each other? Because both of them had a completely different perspective about the objective of their life. Okay, for that monk, the objective was inner peace, was to achieve moksha, to get out of the cycle of birth and death. Whereas for Alexander, it was like winning this whole world. Okay, and then some other things are there, like monk then told him about the story of Raja Bharat, okay, who conquered the whole world, and there is a tradition like in India that after conquering the whole world, जो वो क्या बोलते थे, यज्ञ करते थे ना, Ashwamedh Yagya, after performing that yajna, he went to that Meru mountain. Okay, that is the last step of that Ashwamedh Yagya. So when he reached the top of that mountain, in order to put his flag over there, that yes, I have conquered the whole world, what he saw there, that there are already thousands of flags lying there. Okay, so at that time, he also became disillusioned, that I have wasted my life in conquering this world when, when this has already been done by so many people. There is nothing, it is of no use. Okay, so कहते हैं कि Alexander also get disillusioned. Okay, confusion आ गया था उसके मन कि what I am trying to do, is it really worth of? Okay, so this is the basic difference between Indian and Western philosophy. Outer victory, inner victory. Got it? So this question can come, that what's the difference between Western and Indian moral philosophy? ठीक है, just story है एक छोटा सा, nothing more. Okay, just write 2 lines. From Indian perspective, comma, philosophy is not just an intellectual inquiry. Philosophy is not just an intellectual inquiry, but a way of life. The obligation of individual is not confined to human societies only, but it is extended to the whole of living creation, Okay, so it's about self-realization. Okay, understanding yourself, and it is not only just concentrated on human societies, but throughout the living creation. The animals, the flora and fauna also is part of it. Okay, so if a question on there, environmental ethics, you can start with this line. You getting my point? ठीक है. So this is the first thing. Now, second point that you can write is Indian ethics is absolute and spiritualistic. Okay, I mean it is more spiritual rather than on the basis of reason that transcendental world which Kant talked about, that world has been taken into account. That spirit is there, God is there, Indradev, Vayudev, all these devas are there, and they are controlling your conduct. Okay, in fact that was also one of the criticism of Indian. Why it doesn't popularize that much? Right? Because of its links to religious ethics were there, whereas in case of your Western philosophy, secular ethics were propagated. Okay, explanation was given without getting involved into religion. Right? Absolute, one power की बात करता है. It talks about one supreme power, one God. That there is one supreme power, and everything is controlled by this only. Okay, I mean मल्टीपल गॉड्स, हिंदुइज्म में भी मल्टीपल गॉड्स का बात नहीं होता, सिर्फ एक सिंगल गॉड का बात होता है. ओके, लाइक आइडल वर्शिप भी हम लोग करते हैं. यू नो दिस थिंग, आइडल वर्शिप. आई मीन, इज इट प्रेज्ड इन हिंदुइज्म और इट इज समथिंग विच इज मॉक्ड? व्हाट इज देयर इन वेदास अबाउट आइडल वर्शिप? एनी आइडिया? No idea. In fact, Vedas have criticized idol worship. In fact, they have mocked people who worship these idols. So what's the logic behind idols worship? Basically,
Adams have idol worship. Relatable form.
Yes. Relatable object. Okay, basically what these Vedas have said, let's see, it is very difficult for human beings to understand the abstract form of God. Okay, the formless form is very difficult to comprehend. Okay, that is why these idols have been created. They are just like boys with toys. Are you getting me? Just like toys are given to children to play with, to understand the basic concepts. Similarly, these idols are given to understand the very basic initial idea of God. But what people usually do, they just get stuck in this basic idea only, and they are not able to relate it with the higher abstract form. Okay, and that is why it has mocked people who just get stuck, who just go for this idol worship only. Okay, एक जो finally उसमें क्या हुआ था in Bhagavad Gita, what happened? In the end, what happened? क्या हुआ था? भगवान ने क्या दिखाया? कृष्णा showed him his cosmic form, one form in which all gods were there. Okay, so even it talks about one power, one God, and idol worship is not good even in Hindu religion. It has been criticized, but yes, for the initial period it can be done. Okay, so ठीक है, अगला पॉइंट लिखो. Indian philosophy is a synthesis of theory and practice. It's a synthesis of theory and practice. It aims at attaining a life of perfection, here in this world only. Okay. Then it seeks a balance. Indian philosophy seeks a balance between individual and social life. Okay, so it is not completely based on self-interest, it also talks about the interest of society. Okay, and finally you can say that it believes in the idea of law of karma. Thinkers believe in the law of karma. Okay, so karma का idea है, for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. Okay, now see, the basic idea of Indian philosophy is based on Hinduism. Okay, and Hinduism in itself is an idea which has been evolved over a very long period of time. Okay, like the first phase, we can say that 8 phases are there in it. The first phase was Indus Valley phase. In Indus Valley, Hinduism was there. How? Pashupatinath, all those things were there. So worship was some idea. So goddess, so some things were there. So yes, the first phase is Indus Valley phase. The next is Vedic phase. Vedic phase के बाद क्या आया? Upanishads आए. What was there in Upanishads? Upanishads में क्या था? Commentary. Basically philosophy, basic multiple interpretations were made about what was there in Vedas. Okay, so see, in Vedic age what was happening? Okay, people were just performing different karmas which were there in the Vedas itself, but they were not understanding the meaning. Buddhism and Jainism, why they came? They said कि खाली karma मत करो, also think that why you are doing that thing. Okay, so one can say that all these things, Buddhism, Jainism, and as well as development of Upanishads, they take place simultaneously only. Okay, Upanishad के बाद क्या है? Buddhist, you can say. Upanishads, Buddhist इकट्ठे आए. Then after Buddhism, Puranic phase came. Purans में क्या था? Sorry? हाँ, stories था basically. Simple stories were there that were based on the philosophy. Okay, ये आपका रामायण, महाभारता, all these things came during this Puranic time only. Got it? Purans के बाद कौन सा phase कह सकते हैं? Bhakti movement. Okay, Bhakti movement में what happened to Hinduism? Personal, regional gods you can say. Okay, like regional form of Indian philosophy came up. Like Ramayana, South का Ramayana अलग हो गया, महाराष्ट्र का रामायण, यूपी का रामायण, सबका रामायण अलग अलग हो गया. ओके, लाइक तुलसीदास रामचरितमानस, तो वो दैट थिंग इज फेमस मोर इन दिस जो इसका रीजन है आपका उत्तर प्रदेश, बिहार, ये रीजन है. ओके, सिमिलरली वी हैव अ डिफरेंट फॉर्म ऑफ रामायण इन साउथ. क्या वो कंबन रामायण इज देयर. ओके, लाइक जो एक नाथ थे, दे ट्रांसलेटेड दैट थिंग. उसके बाद कौन सा फेज आया? ओरिएंटलिस्ट फेज. ओके, जो रेनेसांस के टाइम पे आया था. व्हाट हैपेंड? इंग्लिश ट्रांसलेशन वाज मेड एंड इट वाज नाउ एट दिस टाइम दैट हिंदुइज्म वाज फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल कंसिडर्ड एज अ रिलीजन. ओके, अर्लियर जो धर्मा जो शब्द था, इनफैक्ट दिस वी कैन से दैट along with the evolution of Hinduism, the word dharma has also evolved. Okay, different meanings have been given to dharma in different phases. Like what was the meaning in Vedas? Performing rituals. Performing different rituals was dharma. Okay, what was the meaning of dharma in Mahabharata? Performing your duty. Okay, what was there in Upanishads? Different in though different Upanishads have given different meaning. Some have said that the rule made by king. Okay, some of the people have related it with cosmic law. Okay, natural principles. So different meanings have been given. And finally, the modern phase of dharma. What is there? What is the meaning of dharma in modern phase? Now, completely, it's an individual's approach. Now, like recently, there was this interview of Nawazuddin Siddiqui, you know, the actor. Okay, so he said that acting is my dharma. Are you getting my point? Like there was a story about a teacher who was very dedicated to his work. In 2005, I heard that story that he used to travel more than 32 kilometers daily in order to teach 20 children in school, and most of his students, they were quite successful. Okay, so at that time he said that teaching is my dharma, right? Like for you people, studying is your dharma. Okay, so now the word dharma, I mean, it has localized. Okay, पहले एक यूनिवर्सल था आइडिया, देन वो कंट्री वाइज हो गया, देन रीजन वाइज हो गया, एंड नाउ इट हैज बीन लोकलाइज्ड टू अ सिंगल इंडिविजुअल. In fact, in Indian philosophy, we will discuss this evolution of dharma only. Okay. In fact, this question, this single word dharma, it explains all the schools of Western moral philosophy. Okay. How? इनफैक्ट वेस्टर्न स्कूल में तो इंडिविजुअल और सोशल मोरालिटी की बात है, यहाँ पे थर्ड डायमेंशन हैज बीन एडेड, स्पिरिचुअल मोरालिटी. ओके, ऋण, RNA, ऋण, डेट. Done. स्वधर्मा साधारण धर्म, विदेहा मुक्ति जीवन मुक्ति। Swadharma, Swadharma. It is given in Bhagavad Gita, Swadharma. Or in some books it is also given Vishesh Dharma. Instead of Swadharma, Vishesh Dharma word has been used. Okay. Basically, Sadharan Dharma, a dharma which has to be followed by all people. And Vishesh Dharma, a dharma which has to be followed as per the ashram and varna of the person. Okay, now see, the first thing is this teleological idea, that is Rita. It basically means order. Okay, order in what? Cosmic order. Okay, and when this cosmic order will reach? When your behavior will be in congruence with the cosmic law. Are you getting my point? What was there in Stoicism? We discussed first thing. Nature में 4 concepts were there na. In one concept it has talked about nature, that we people must realize that we are a very small minuscule part of the whole cosmic order. Okay, and we should always try to respect this moral idea. We should not play, we should not go against the idea, the principles of nature. Whenever this thing will happen, it will lead to negative implications. Okay, basically it talks about entropy. Entropy क्या होता है? एंट्रोपी फिजिक्स में क्या होता है? मेजर ऑफ, इट्स बेसिकली मेजर ऑफ रैंडमनेस. ओके, कितना डिसऑर्डर है. ओके, सो व्हाट वी शुड गो फॉर? पॉजिटिव और नेगेटिव? नेगेटिव एंट्रोपी शुड बी आवर गोल rather than positive entropy. Are you getting my point? So basically I am trying to relate that idea of physics to this cosmic law. Are you getting my point? So इसमें how you can relate it with current affairs, जैसे ये जो genetic engineering है, GM crops है. Okay, basically in such cases we go against the nature. We tend to disturb the balance which has been maintained for thousands of years. ठीक है, गड़बड़ कर देंगे बैलेंस को हम लोग, तो इट विल लीड टू प्रॉब्लम्स. मॉरल लॉ को कंट्रोल करो. जस्ट राइट 2 लाइन्स इन इट. ऋता इज द इटर्नल cosmic and moral order. And moral order. It represents the basic truth. It represents the basic truth, comma, harmony or system of the universe, comma, harmony or system of the universe which no one can violate. Okay, इसका opposite होता है अनरता, which means disorder and confusion. Okay, now those who follow moral order are rewarded by gods. Those who follow moral order are rewarded by gods. Okay, and how you can live this life, how you can maintain this order? By living the life of reason. Okay, so life of reason leads to right behavior, which finally get rewarded by gods. Okay, so basically rational approach की बात हो रहा है. Okay, suppose the question is there on rationality, like what Socrates has said, what Aristotle has said, okay, what Stoics have said. They have all talked about rationality only. So while presenting their view, you can write about this Rata also, that as per Indian philosophy also, Rata, cosmic order, can only be achieved through living a reasoned life. Okay, so this is the idea of Rata, and this is teleological in nature, that the end of every human activity should be to maintain this moral order. Got it? ये आपका ऋता हो गया. Now comes Rina. Rina basically means obligation, okay, or a responsibility on you. So what is it? It is social morality. This is spiritual morality. Are you getting more? Having order with other realms also, and this is social morality. Got it? It basically says that people in their different ashramas have different obligations towards the society. Okay, so the first ashram is Brahmacharya ashram. In Brahmacharya ashram, what you have to pay? You have to pay, you have to fulfill your obligations and responsibility towards your guru. Guru Dakshina का concept आता है ना India में. Why it is so important? Because after, the society has done so much, so now the gurus have done so much for you, so now you should pay them back. Okay, so आपने गुरु रना पे कर दिया. Got it? फीस का concept इसलिए आया है. Right? So Guru Rana. Then you enter your Grihastha ashram. In Grihastha ashram, what you have to pay? Pitra Rana. Okay, basically your obligation, your responsibility towards your ancestors. And how you are going to pay it? By having child, by having children, or by working for the progress of your family. Okay, so देखो ये concept है in India. Having a child, it's not a right which has been given to a mother or father. Okay, it is a social obligation. Are you understanding this thing? It is a duty rather than a matter of choice in India. So when it comes to abortion, ethical issues in abortions, you can write this Pitra Rana. Okay, then you enter your third ashrama, Vanaprastha. In Vanaprastha, what you do? You give away all your wealth for charity, for the welfare of mankind. And by doing this, what you do? What you pay? Manushya Rana, your debt towards the mankind. And finally, in your sannyas, when you retire, when you become an ascetic, nothing is there. At that time, you pay your debt towards the devas, towards the gods. Okay, so 4 debts you have to pay during your 4 ashramas, and this is your dharma also. Got it? So I hope you have understood this idea. ठीक है? So इसमें लिखना है कुछ या कर लोगे? I think हो जाएगा काम. ठीक है? You can explain this thing. Now comes this very important one, and that is Purusharthas. The 4 supreme Purusharthas which have been there are Arth, Kam, Dharma and Moksha. Okay, So, first of all, we'll talk about dharma. Now, what is dharma? As per this meaning, what's the dharma in this? First of all, why it has been given priority over all other purusharthas? Because every other purushartha must be compatible to this purushartha of dharma. Okay. Again देखो वही कहानी बोला गया कि human beings are rational and spiritual beings. Okay, and because of this rationality and spirituality, they are not satisfied by lower order needs. They also have some higher needs, and these higher needs, self-realization, self-esteem, all these things are there. And the only way through which they can reach these higher order needs is through dharma. Got it? So ये एक कहानी छोटी सी दी गई है, इसको लिख लो थोड़ा सा. Dharma is given priority over others. Dharma is given priority over others because all human pursuits have to be compatible with moral values and principles. Last year there was a question that all people have ambition. था ना एक question ये वाला? What was the question बताओ? मतलब ambitions होते हैं, but the end is dependent on how you have fulfilled your ambition. Some people do it in a wrong manner, some people do it in the right manner. So basically these four purusharthas also say yes, that earth and calm is there with human beings. Okay. Ambitions, sorry?
Great ambition is the passion of great character.
Great ambition is the passion of
Great character.
और आगे क्या है आगे?
Those endorses which may perform it very good or very bad.
Very badly. Okay, so
Depends on
principles which direct them. Okay, so basically it says that artha and kama, these ambitions are there with human beings. It is inherent to them. But how people reach them will finally decide that what end they will, whether they will achieve their moksha or not, and how they should achieve it through dharma. Machiavelli ने तो मीन्स का बात ही नहीं किया ना. हाँ बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. ओके, वो निहिलिज्म का भी एक स्कूल आ जाता है उसमें. तो सिंपल ये है कि आई मीन दिस इज हाउ यू कैन रिलेट इंफॉर्मेशन. सो लिखो उसमें, धर्मा इंडिकेट्स मॉरल and reflective awareness. Man is essentially a rational and spiritual being. He is not satisfied by lower order needs like hunger, sex and safety. Lower order needs. He has higher needs. Which are psychological, moral and spiritual. Okay, which can only be fulfilled by dharma. Okay. Now, dharma further divided into swadharma and sadharan dharma. What is sadharan dharma? Basically, living a virtuous life. Okay, virtues which are common to all living beings. What are these virtues? जैसे इसमें याद ना है, so put those 5 virtues of Buddhism. Buddhism है ना, पंचशिला 5 है, non stealing, नॉट लाइंग, इंटॉक्सिनेशन नहीं होना चाहिए, नो ड्रिंकिंग, नो अल्कोहलिज्म, नथिंग. सो वो सब इसमें भी आ जाएंगे. गॉट इट? वो है आपका साधारण. एंड देन वी हैव स्वधर्मा. ओके, इन स्वधर्मा वी हैव टू डू थिंग्स एज पर आर varna and as per our ashrama. Varna accordingly, what is our dharma? What is the dharma of a kshatriya? To fight. Okay, to basically to save his land from the enemies. Okay, see, this was also a problem, that this power to save your land from the enemies was only concentrated within one class of the society. ठीक है, ये भी एक प्रॉब्लम था. चलो इसके बाद में आते हैं, थोड़ा सा लिखो पहले एक बार. साधारण धर्मा इंक्लूड्स the actions which are indicative of the general virtues like non-violence, in thought, word and deed. In thought, words and deed. Truthfulness, patience, honesty, charity, compassion, and contentment. Such virtues are obligatory on all human beings. They are obligatory on all human beings. Obligatory on all human beings, irrespective of their class or creed. Creed. Okay. Now comes Swadharma. First of all, Varna Dharma. Okay. The four Varnas are given. कहाँ given? सबसे पहले कहाँ मिलते हैं four Varnas? Are they present in Vedas? They are. Rig Veda के अंदर, it has, in Rig Veda we have this, I think 10th chapter is there, Purush Sukta. Okay, which has defined the qualities of a Purusha. And in this, the first reference of Varna system is there, which says that Brahmins have come from the mouth. Okay, your Kshatriyas have come from the arms and shoulders, Vaishyas have come from the thighs, and Shudras have come from the feet of the Supreme Purusha, जिसको God भी बोलते हैं. They have emanated from there. Okay, but in the same idea, it has also been given that earth has also emanated from the feet of this Purusha. So the whole earth is Shudra only. This thing has been given in Purush Sukta. Earth का क्या काम है? What is the utility of earth for human beings? क्या करता है earth? आप लोगों को सर्विस देता है, ऑक्सीजन दे रहा है, फूड दे रहा है, मिनरल रिसोर्स सब कुछ दे रहा है ना आपको. So the basic idea of earth is to serve only. And what is the role of Shudra? To serve people. Okay. So technically the whole earth is Shudra. Okay. So basically see, in Vedas it has nowhere written that Shudras are inferior to Brahmins or Kshatriyas. It is just a classification, just labels have been given that Brahmins mouth se aaye, wo haath se aaye, wo thigh se aaye. Nothing else. It has never said that something which is coming out from your feet is inferior to something which is coming out from your arms. Okay, simple classification is there. So Brahmins, first of all Brahmins came up. Okay, Brahmins क्या है? Who are Brahmins? What is their role? क्या role है Brahmins का भाई? Learning. I told you the meaning of Brahmin in the first class of moral philosophy, to expand your mind. Okay, any person who has the understanding of Vedas, he is a Brahmin. Even if you are born in a family of Shudras, but you know all the four Vedas, then you become Brahmin. Okay, so basically it's a class of preachers, teachers. Okay, intellectuals का जो class है, priest का जो class है, that is of Brahmins. Okay, and it is given highest position in the society. Second is Kshatriyas. Kshatriyas का क्या role हो गया? Class of rulers, warriors, administrators also. Like if you become an IAS officer, you will enter this Kshatriya class. Okay, label है, nothing else. But society gives them more importance. Then third, Vaishyas आ गए. What's the role of Vaishyas? सर्विस प्रोवाइडर्स वैश्यास नहीं होते, वो ट्रेडर्स होते हैं. ओके, फार्मर्स होते हैं, जो प्राइमरी इंडस्ट्रीज वगैरह होते हैं, वो सब आपका वैश्यास में आ जाएगा. ओके, बट जो शूद्रास है वो है सर्विस प्रोवाइडर्स. उसमें आपकी ब्लैक स्मिथ आ गया, आप लाइक गोल्ड स्मिथ ऑल्सो कम, बार्बर्स आ गए, कारपेंटर्स आ गए, नॉर्मल अदर ऑक्सिलरी सर्विस प्रोवाइडर्स, दे ऑल कम अंडर शूद्रास. आईटी इंडस्ट्री, हाँ सर्विस, जो बीपीओ वगैरह है, हाँ सर्विस सेंटर. ओके, so this thing is there, but again these are all just labels as per Vedas. Okay, so the qualities, एक ही लाइन लिख लो, the qualities of knowledge, comma power, wealth and service. The qualities of knowledge, power, wealth and service are found respectively in the four varnas. Devotion to one's own duty, devotion to one's own duty, and renunciation of the fruits, and renunciation of the fruits of one's actions to the highest spiritual authority is expected from all members of society. Okay, and one more line, the regular dedicated performance of one's own duty leads to the highest goal of moksha. Okay, I mean it's not like that only Brahmins will achieve moksha. Even a Shudra, or let's say even a barber, he can also achieve his moksha provided he will do his duty properly. If he is achieving excellence, perfection, he is true to his work, then certainly he will achieve moksha. Even if a sweeper is there, he is sweeping roads in such a manner that even the gods, in their way, they are stopping to see that how neat and clean the road is. Okay, then it means that you are doing your work properly and you will certainly achieve your moksha. ठीक है, डूइंग योर ड्यूटी, जो प्लेटो ने टीम वर्क की बात किया था, अपना अपना ड्यूटी करो. गॉट इट? तो ये ड्यूटी का कॉन्सेप्ट आ गया. उसमें भी आपका मतलब मनु ने भी नहीं बोला था कि ये दोनों खराब है. ये सब बेसिकली मनु अरेंज्ड दीज फोर वर्नास इन हायरार्किकल ऑर्डर. दिस वाज द प्रॉब्लम. Okay, and why this thing was arranged? So that people can be motivated to achieve the higher ends. Okay, he never said that the intermobility is not there in different castes, different varnas. In fact, Dvija का concept था. Dvija, you people know? Twice born. What do you mean by twice born? We are all Shudra. We are all born as a Shudras only. And our final varna will be decided only after our education. जो पढ़ लिख गए, अच्छे से पढ़ लिया, वो ब्राह्मण क्लास में चला जाएगा। जिसने पढ़ाई नहीं की, सर्विस इंडस्ट्री में आ गया, वो शूद्रा चला जाएगा, कोई क्षत्रिया चला जाएगा। ओके, आर यू गेटिंग माई पॉइंट? देखो बहुत ही साइंटिफिक एक वो था ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ विच दिस होल आइडिया वाज अरेंज्ड, बट लेटर ऑन उसको खराब कर दिया। ओके, नाउ द 4 आश्रमास आर देयर। हाँ, देखो वैश्यास का बेसिकली वेल्थ जनरेशन था। बेसिकली जो एंटरप्रेन्योर्स हैं वो आप वैश्यास में डाल सकते हो, और जो एम्प्लॉयड हैं उनको शूद्रास में डाला जा सकता है। यू कैन से दिस थिंग, ओके, हु आर जनरेटिंग वेल्थ फॉर द सोसाइटी। हाँ बिल्कुल, ओके। जैसे फार्मर्स हैं, प्राइमरी जो जितना भी इंडस्ट्रीज हैं आपका, प्राइमरी सेकेंडरी इंडस्ट्रीज हैं, वो सब आपका इसमें आ जाएगा, वैश्यास में आ जाएगा। जो टर्शरी सेक्टर आ जाता है वो यूजुअली सर्विस उसके अंदर आ जाएगा। गॉट इट? कोई क्लियर कट नहीं है बेसिकली, बट इतना ही लेके चलते हैं। गॉट इट? फिर आ जाते हैं आपके 4 आश्रम्स। ओके, व्हाट इज द फर्स्ट आश्रम? ब्रह्मचर्य आश्रम। ब्रह्मचर्य, व्हाट इज योर ड्यूटी एट दैट टाइम? टू पे योर ऋण टू योर गुरु एंड टू रीड द 4 वेदास। ठीक है, अपना 4 वेदा पढ़ो, गुरु का ऋण दो, हो गया काम। ओके, while maintaining your celibacy. Okay. Second is your grihastha ashram that you will enter at the age of 25, which all you people have missed. Okay. So basically again यहाँ पे क्या करना है? After studying your Vedas, क्या करना है? You will dwell into this householder job. Okay. Go for the marriage thing, have children, generate wealth for yourself as well as for the society. Then क्या होता है उसके बाद? फाइनल आप जा, 3rd आश्रम है वनाप्रस्था। When you see wrinkles on your face and you see the son of your son, ये थोड़ा सा पार्शियल हो जाता है, ये लिखा हुआ है son of your son, then you will go into the 3rd ashrama vanaprastha. And finally after giving away all your things, you enter the 4th ashrama sannyas, you become an ascetic. Okay, you will break away all your links with the society. Got it? तो ये 4 आपके हो गए. Hope you have understood the idea of dharma. Then comes your arth. Arth purushartha. What do you mean by arth purushartha? Economic development. Basically it's talking about. See again, this is the beauty of Hinduism, that it do not ignore arth and kama. Okay, like Buddhism, Jainism का थोड़ा सा क्या था कि negative connotation है towards life. They take life as something negative, as something which is putting burden on us. Whereas in Hinduism we have a positive connotation towards life. Okay, but wealth generation should not only for your personal benefits, but for the benefit of the whole society itself. Common good जो approach हमने discuss किया था. In Western philosophy, this Arth Purushartha is talking about common goods. That we should work in such a way that common goods are established and sustained. आ रही है बात समझ में? Common good approach है ये. ठीक है, एक दो लाइनें लिख लो अर्थ पुरुषार्था में. Earth stands for that which satisfies biological, material and economic needs of an individual. It also stands for power and authority. Okay. It has a social significance. It has a social significance as every society generates wealth. Every society generates wealth, and every member contributes. Every member contributes to the creation of wealth. Okay, so wealth should serve human beings and fulfill social functions. Human purposes and social functions must be fulfilled. Okay, how you can apply this idea in modern context? डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ वेल्थ का उसमें आप डाल सकते हैं कि वेल्थ कैन बी जनरेटेड बट इट मस्ट बी डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड यूनिफॉर्मली. और कुछ CSR का कॉन्सेप्ट इसमें डाला जा सकता है, कॉर्पोरेट सोशल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी. ओके, दैट वेल्थ मस्ट बी जनरेटेड फॉर द सोसाइटी एज अ होल. ओके, ठीक है. देन कम्स काम पुरुषार्थ. काम की स्पेलिंग ये भी आती है और एक KAMA भी आती है, सो डोंट गेट कंफ्यूज्ड. ओके, काम पुरुषार्थ क्या है भाई? व्हाई इट इज सो इम्पोर्टेंट? बेसिकली इट टॉक्स अबाउट योर एस्थेटिक जॉय. काम नॉट ओनली इन टर्म्स ऑफ सेक्स, okay, in terms of other pleasures that you get through your 5 senses. Okay, I mean many people they enjoy burger more than sex. Okay, food का भी होता है, music also comes under kama only. Okay, anything which you enjoy through your 5 senses. Okay, so and why this kama is important? Kama important क्यों है? अरे काम नहीं होगा तो क्या होगा? अब बोर हो जाओगे, इमोशनल स्ट्रेस आ जाएगा, फ्रस्ट्रेशन इज गोइंग टू बी देयर. सो सेल्फ प्रिजर्वेशन, दिस इज द फर्स्ट गोल ऑफ कामा. Okay, it basically says that a person who is emotionally disturbed, okay, that person cannot go on the path of moksha. He can never achieve that thing. Why? Because those emotional stress, it is always going to disturb him. So first is self-preservation, and second is ये टेक्निकल उसमें चले गए आप. अरे रेस प्रेजर्वेशन बोलो. रेस कहाँ से आगे बढ़ेगी इफ कामा इज नॉट देयर? इमोशंस आर रिक्वायर्ड. बिना इमोशंस के कहाँ से होगा कुछ? ठीक है. सो रेस, 2 थिंग्स आर देयर, सेल्फ प्रेजर्वेशन एंड रेस प्रेजर्वेशन. ठीक है. सो कामा का भी अपना पर्पस है. सो कामा मीन्स अ प्लेजर, means a pleasure one gets from the satisfaction of desires. It also means affection and love. Both sensual enjoyment as well as aesthetic joy comes under it. Kama fulfilled through dharma, leads to self-preservation and race preservation. Okay, चलो अब कामा पूरा हो गया, अर्थ पूरा हो गया एज पर धर्मा. Through this, what will happen? You will achieve your moksha. Moksha is the end in itself. Okay, क्या है ये? summum bonum है. Western philosophy discuss na summum bonum. It is the summum. It's an end in itself. It is the summum bonum of human life. Okay. Basically, it's a feeling of complete satisfaction. It is a feeling of complete satisfaction of desires and bliss. Feeling of complete satisfaction of desires and bliss. It is associated with the idea of liberation. Okay, you get liberated, nirvana जिसकी बात करते हैं, liberated from everything. पूरा satisfaction आ गया अब, now I don't need anything else. Okay. Now, but again see, moksha is also of two types, videha mukti and jivan mukti. What do you mean by videha mukti? After leaving your death, after only dying, you can achieve your moksha. Okay, I mean many people say that these worldly affairs, they have such a strong impact on human beings that they cannot achieve their moksha without dying. So dying is important. Okay, but another school says jivan mukti, that one can achieve his moksha within his lifetime. Can you give me examples? People who have achieved their moksha within life. अरे वाह, इतने भी महान नहीं थे, ठीक है. Okay, he was close to moksha. Buddha you can get. In fact, all these जैसे साईं बाबा को हम लोग बोलते हैं, all these जो चिश्ती, स्वामी नारायण, okay, जितने भी सिद्ध पुरुषास, in Indian philosophy we call them सिद्ध पुरुषास. Okay, like आपके जो ख्वाजा अजमेर शरीफ है, और your क्या है ये आपका जो Nizamuddin Auliya hai, all these basically in Indian philosophy, all of them have been related, they have been called as Siddha Purushas. Purushas who have achieved their moksha within this lifetime. Okay, and when, like jo Krishna the, what he said, that I am no different than you. Okay, I am also a normal human being, but the only difference is that I have achieved my moksha. Okay, and because I have achieved, now I know everything. I know about my past lives also, what I am going to be there. Future नहीं पता, but past का मुझे पता है. Okay, and I have better control over things. ठीक है, तो जीवन मुक्ति और विदेहा मुक्ति. Okay, एक लाइन लिख लो. मोक्षा as per जीवन मुक्ति, moksha can be attained. Moksha can be attained in the finite physical body, through proper and purified conduct. Through proper and purified conduct. Okay, ये है. और विदेहा मुक्ति तो basically we are bound by these psychophysical conditions, so after death we achieve our moksha. Okay, one more thing is there about moksha. एक जैसे quote आता है, when the gap between what is and what ought to be disappears. When the gap between what is and what ought to be disappears, the individual achieves liberation. Okay. Ideals, वही virtues और ideals की जो बात कर रहे थे, individual based approach. So now, in fact, you people must understand that how dharma, this word dharma, has been related to all the three schools of Western moral philosophy. Are you समझ में? This is the idea. Okay. In fact, like we talked about those unity of virtues. Similarly, we have unity of purusharthas also. Okay, what this basically means? That all four Purusharthas are intimately connected with each other. If you lose one, you will lose others also. ठीक है, एक lose, जैसे dharma without moksha. If moksha is not your end, then what dharma will become? It will become mere rituals. Are you getting me? चलो इसको लिख लो, चलो दो चार लाइनें लिख लो. Four Purusharthas are intimately connected with one another. Intimately connected with one another. Dharma without moksha leads to mere rituals. Earth without dharma is greediness, काम विदाउट धर्मा क्या बन जाएगा? लस्ट. काम विदाउट धर्मा विल बी लस्ट. And moksha without other purusharthas, and moksha without other purusharthas will be hollow and abstract. Okay. Now, who? Catholic उसमें? हाँ हाँ हाँ. Moksha is always abstract in nature. See, basically again, this is actually the problem. ठीक है? Like, tell me, suppose if a person is there, he has family. Okay, he leaves his family, go to the mountain and start living a life of an ascetic. So will he ever achieve his moksha? Never. Why? Because he failed to fulfill his duty towards his family. In fact, that was a problem of Bhishma Pitama also. Bhishma Pitama, he took the vow that he will always serve Hastinapur. Okay, but when the time came, he failed to fulfill his duty to become the king. नहीं ये बात समझ पाए. उसको तो king बनना था. Only by becoming a king he would have served Hastinapur properly, but he failed in that duty. That is why in Mahabharata it is always said that all these things, these vows, these principles, these code of conduct, they are just branches and leaves of the tree called dharma, and they keep on changing with time. They are highly contextual in nature. Are you getting my point? तो ये सब importance ही रखता है. What is most important thing is your dharma. नहीं आई बात समझ में? ठीक है. तो that is the beauty of Indian philosophy, that it always says life is a balancing act. You cannot leave one thing for the other. You cannot achieve your moksha if your brothers, if your sisters, they are in pain. Okay. So this is the idea. In fact, see, one more question in fact is there in Mahabharata, that if dharma is so good, it helps you to achieve your moksha, then why it is not pursued by people? Dharma is so good, सब मिल जाएगा, मोक्ष, अर्थ, काम, everything will be balanced out. Then why people don't pursue it? Effort तो देखो उसमें दूसरी चीजों में भी लगाना पड़ता है. The problem is that we are more influenced by the Western idea of ego. Are you understanding my point? देखो Ramlinga Raju, that Satyam scandal happened around 10 years back. Okay, he had everything with him. फिर क्यों scandal का जरूरत था? See this Vijay Mallya, he had everything. So much money was there with him, and yet he came up with this NPO scandal हुआ, क्या जरूरत था? So that they can remain influential. Okay, they can exert their influence over other people. एक बात बताओ आप, चलो ये सब छोड़ो. You have all you know what were the different characters in Mahabharata. Okay, suppose you are expecting a son. Okay, now what you want your son to become like? कौन सा कैरेक्टर बनाने की कोशिश करोगे महाभारत में से? अब अभिमन्यु और लेट से योर अर्जुना को लोग बहुत ज्यादा करते हैं, बट नो वन विल से युधिष्ठिर. व्हाई? बिकॉज ही वॉज द हम्बल गाय. Okay, and the problem in this world is that everyone they flatter the influential and ignore the humble, and this is the problem. Everyone wants to have the influence over other people. नहीं आई बात समझ में? And this is the idea of Western philosophy, that create your influence over other people. Okay, and because of this influence thing, what happens? You start following the path of adharma, and wrong thing happens. You never achieve your moksha. Okay, बल्कि युधिष्ठिर था, it was Yudhishthira who gave exams, who gave all these things throughout his life. Starting में भी exam दिया, end में भी exam. In fact, in the 18th अध्याय of Mahabharata, even when he went to heaven, there also he had to give an exam to prove his dharma and nyaya. Okay. So actually, Yudhishthira is the real hero of Mahabharata rather than Arjuna. But again, because he was humble, nobody really flatters. कॉलेज में भी यही होता है ना, गर्ल्स क्या लाइक बॉयज गर्ल्स का यही होता है, जो इन्फ्लुएंशियल जो माचो है विच हैज अथॉरिटी ओवर अदर पीपल, ही विल बी लाइक्ड बाय अदर्स. अभिमन्यु उसको वैलर, उसका ब्रेवरी के लिए आप लाइक करते हो. हम्बल आदमी को कोई नहीं पूछता. ओके, उसके लिए नाम रखे हुए हैं 2-3, वो बोले जाते हैं उसको. ठीक है, तो सबके साथ देखो यही प्रॉब्लम था. एंड कहाँ से आता है ये this craving to influence other people? From where this thing comes from? Ego से. The root cause of all human problems is ego or vanity. वैनिटी हमेशा रहेगा. ओके, ईगो से व्हाट विल हैपन? In fact, all the 6 enemies of your mind, they start generating from ego itself. इसको मद बोलते हैं इन हिंदी. ओके, ईगो से क्या आएगा? 2 things will come up. Attachment. Okay, it will lead to lust. Ego से ही आता है सब. When you start giving more importance to your own body, yourself, what will happen? You'll start caring about your body, the things you are getting from your 5 senses. Lust develop होगा. Attachment आएगा. You want to own a Bentley car or a Rolex watch. Okay, so attachment develop होगा. Whenever you have these 2 things, or you start looking for them, you will start comparing yourself with other people. And when you will start comparing yourself with them, what will become? Envy आएगा. ईगो का पॉजिटिव तो नहीं होता. See, again, that is how other people are. Again, देखो सेल्फ रिस्पेक्ट की बात उसने की नहीं है इन महाभारत. फॉर द किंग, हाँ, कोई सेल्फ रिस्पेक्ट का नहीं है. बेसिकली व्हाट इज गुड फॉर द सोसाइटी. जैसे अब बुद्धा का वो एक स्टोरी था ना, जिसमें अ पर्सन कम्स टू हिम एंड स्टार्ट अब्यूजिंग हिम. ओके, नाउ ही कुड हैव टेकन इट ऑन हिज सेल्फ रिस्पेक्ट. Self-respect is decided by yourself only. Okay, if you won't allow other person to disrespect you, then nothing will happen. You getting my point? तो वो देखो सेल्फ रिस्पेक्ट का आइडिया ही इन इट सेल्फ ईगो से डेवलप होता है. हाँ, तो उसको भी आई मीन वी कैन हैव इट फॉर अ नेगेटिव कॉनोटेशन. उसने मेरा रिस्पेक्ट डिसरिस्पेक्ट कर दिया, हु इज ही? ओके, if you think that you are also a normal human being, I mean you and a rickshaw wala, he is same, I mean both of you are same in front of God. Okay? But we people forget this thing. अरे रिक्शा वाला है, इसको तो गाली दे दो, इसको मार दो, कुछ भी कर दो, सब चलता है. Okay, why all these things comes? Because of ego. Okay, ego से attachment आया, lust आया, इन दोनों से envy develop होता है. Envy is very dangerous in nature. Why? Because you comparing yourself with other people. Okay. अब देखो envy के बारे में one thing is said that envy is a great leveler and it levels downwards. नहीं आई बात समझ में? Envy is a great leveler and it levels downwards. What do you mean by it? You are A, other person B. Okay, you envy B. What will happen? Either you want to grow bigger than B, or you will try to bring down the B. यही होता है ना? So envy is a great leveler, and it levels downwards. Why there are more fights in socialist countries? Communism क्यों fail हुआ? Have you ever thought about it? क्यों? ये envy के चलते ही communism fail हुआ. Why? Because in communism people are quite close to each other. The gap is not big. So the fight is always on. Capitalism में क्या होता है? Gap बहुत ज़्यादा होता है. I mean you will never compare yourself with Ambani. आप अपने neighbor के साथ अपने को compare करोगे. Okay. And in case of communism, people are close to each other. That is why envy is more in communism. That is why more fights also. ठीक है? So envy से क्या मिलेगा? Anger आएगा. Anger कब आएगा? When you will try to bring that B down. और खुद को ऊपर गलत मीन्स के थ्रू लेके जाओगे तो greed आएगा. Okay, and all these six are the enemies of mind. सब ईगो के साथ रिलेटेड है. दुर्योधना का क्या प्रॉब्लम था? दुर्योधना हैड दिस प्रॉब्लम ऑफ एनवी. ठीक है. व्हाई जूस वर किल्ड इन सेकेंड वर्ल्ड वॉर? क्यों था जीनोसाइड? जूस का जीनोसाइड ही क्यों था? बहुत रिच थे. जैसे वो आपके पटेल्स आ जाते हैं गुजरात के अंदर, छोटा कम्युनिटी है, very less percentage in population, and yet they are very prosperous. Same goes with Jews also. In fact, in Austria, Vienna, I mean they formed only around 6 to 9% of the population, and yet in many professions more than 50% of the population came from Jews only. So there was a lot of envy against Jews in Austria, and that is why more than 6 million Jews were killed in Austria itself. तो वो भी एक envy का केस था. ठीक है. Many people say that मुकेश अंबानी और अनिल अंबानी के बीच में भी envy का केस था. Why? Because मुकेश was always the favorite son of धीरूभाई अंबानी. असली बेटा तो वही था. Okay. So देखो सब envy के केसेस हैं ये. Got it? कर्ण का क्या प्रॉब्लम था? What was the problem of कर्ण? अब आप लोगों को लगेगा थोड़ा बोर कर रहा हूं मैं, बट दीज आर वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग थिंग्स. कर्ण का क्या प्रॉब्लम था? स्टेटस एंजाइटी. द प्रॉब्लम ऑफ कर्ण वॉज स्टेटस एंजाइटी. ही वॉज वेरी एंशियस अबाउट द स्टेटस विच ही इज होल्डिंग इन द सोसाइटी. एंड अगेन वाई दिस थिंग केम? बिकॉज ही गेव मोर इंपॉर्टेंस टू हिमसेल्फ रादर देन द सोसाइटी. And this status anxiety has the ability, has a power to distort your character. उसका भी character distortion हुआ and he end up on the side of Duryodhana. आ रही है बात समझ में? So उसका भी status anxiety का. In fact, there is one quote also that Karna is a universal problem of mankind. आप सबको भी कहीं ना कहीं स्टेटस एंजाइटी है. ये ब्यूरोक्रेसी में why 10 lakh people give this exam? सबको स्टेटस एंजाइटी है. Okay, like if we become an IAS officer, our status in society will increase. तो स्टेटस एंजाइटी तो है कहीं ना कहीं. Okay, so ये समझो इन सब चीजों को. धृतराष्ट्र का था हिपोक्रेसी था उसका बहुत ज्यादा. Okay, सबकी अलग अलग प्रॉब्लम थी. अश्वत्थामा एक कैरेक्टर था. His problem was revenge. Got it? So do try to understand them. You can give examples from all these characters of Mahabharata itself, and I am dead sure that the evaluator, he will be really impressed by these examples, provided you write them appropriate. Proper जगह पे usage होना चाहिए आपका. Karna is a universal problem of mankind. Okay, I mean we all seek to be loved by others. We all need that love and care, unconditional regard from other people. Okay, in fact, the whole objective of Mahabharata is to criticize the flaws of society itself. ये सब societies का, this is how our society has been arranged. Okay, ego. एक ईगो का एक और कोट है, काम आ सकता है. ईगो इज लाइक अ लीकी बलून. ईगो इज लाइक अ लीकी बलून. इट नीड्स helium of external love. It needs helium of external love and is vulnerable to small pinpricks. Small pinpricks. I mean, your ego will certainly get hurt even if something small has been said to you. Okay. So this is the idea. एक destiny के बारे में एक और idea. I mean, this debate is also resolved in Mahabharata. Like, do you believe in destiny? Do destiny plays a role in your life? जैसे आजीविका का you were saying. But what should be the answer in this regard? Does it play a role? Is there any evidence of its existence?
Only in hindsight we can say that it was destiny. But forward looking.
See, again, proof is there. Krishna has said, Lord Krishna, he is a god. Okay, so I mean, in fact, many great people in India, they have been influenced by Bhagavad Gita. They have regarded it as a national dharma shastra, right? So Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita himself has said, he has recognized that yes, destiny exists. Actually, what happened after that war was over? Okay, finally, Duryodhana was killed by Bhim. Okay, so after that end of that fight, finally Krishna, he said to Yudhishthira that you are lucky to win this war. You are lucky to win this war. So luck was there, your destiny was there, and this thing was recognized. Okay. In fact, even after the end of the war, Krishna went to Gandhari in order to console her. And at that time, what he said, that see, it was all destiny itself. It was destined that all your sons will be killed in the war. Okay. So basically, this destiny, this thing do exist. Okay. Basically, it is that sphere of unexplained events which happens in your life. External factors, you can say. Okay. So that thing is there. But again, see, destiny will decide the kind of situations that you will face. Situations that you will face will be decided by destiny. but how you will approach those situations will be decided by your free will. So this is where the balance between destiny and free will comes. Okay, external world, destiny will decide, but how you approach them, what will be your decision, will be decided by your free will. Okay, so even if something negative happens in your life, then how you will, what choice you will make in that negative situation. Okay, what course of action you will take, that completely depends on your free will. Destiny has no role to play in it. Okay, so this is the balancing act. Got it? So डेस्टिनी वाला देखो, ये वाले क्वेश्चन क्या होते हैं, ट्रिकी होते हैं. मेनी टाइम्स इन इंटरव्यू ऑल्सो सच क्वेश्चंस आर आस्क्ड कि आप यू बिलीव इन डेस्टिनी, और आप एकदम से स्टम्प हो जाओगे, अरे अब इसका क्या आंसर दें. ओके, और फिर देन क्रॉस, इफ यू विल से यस, देन क्रॉस क्वेश्चनिंग विल स्टार्ट. नो पे भी क्रॉस क्वेश्चनिंग हो जाएगा. ओके, सो बैलेंसिंग. यस सर, डेस्टिनी इज देयर. Many times unexpected events are there in our life, but how we respond to these events, it completely depends on our free will. Okay, so this is the idea. So I hope यहाँ पे अभी आज एंड करते हैं. Tomorrow we'll continue with Bhagavad Gita itself. Okay, thank you. अभी भागवत गीता बचा है थोड़ा सा. Thank you.